Homeboys party like every day. Damn, the food smell hella good. What's up? Welcome back. Today I wanted to do the seatbelt modification, the pillar mounted seatbelt, and then get rid of the door mounted one so we can dye the doors. So this right here is from a sedan, and the sedan pillar where this bolts to is actually adjustable. Like you can adjust you know, like shoulder length, like wherever you want this to be positioned according to your height as the driver or passenger. When I'm putting it in this car, it's just going to be fixed. I'm going to try to kind of like line it up to where this one currently is at, the door mounted one. So ideally somewhere in the pillar right there. I haven't checked to see if this will clear the road cage, because obviously the road cage is really close to the pillar, but I'm gonna take some measurements, and then I'm gonna have to find some nuts that'll thread to these guys. I know these are 17s right here, but this one, I don't know, maybe this one's 17s too. Now at the very bottom, I was looking on Google for 88, 89 CRX you know, seat belts, and I noticed that I believe this one mounts to the bottom where the tab, ooh, a lot of spider webs, where the tab right here was at, but I cut it, and I am gonna have to figure out how to get that mechanism bolted back into the pillar. Lucky for me, I haven't gone recycling just yet, so that piece that I cut off, both of them, left and right hand side, is in here somewhere. So I'm gonna have to pull all this out, find that tab, weld it back so we can have a spot to bolt this sucker back on, and then I'm gonna have to make a custom tab to hold the top portion in place, and then everything else is pretty self-explanatory. One of the reasons why I use Velcro is so I can remove the Lexan when I'm doing jobs like welding. The what's the correct terminology here? The slag from the flux core is not going to spit and melt into my Lexan. So here it is fully removed, and I can start welding the bracket. So this is the bracket that I was looking for, and I just sanded it down so that way we can make metal to metal contact for when welding. But the other big issue I just found out, I cut the whole freaking side. Let me show you on the outside. So I cut the whole side out right here, and there's no structural integrity or support to bolt up the pillar mount on the seatbelt, which is this guy. It's supposed to go somewhere. Fuck me, dude. So I'm gonna have to figure something out. I'm gonna weld this in right now, and then I'm gonna make a little bar that comes off of here that's gonna go to the top of the seatbelt box, because there's a 10 mil that's supposed to go on top right here. So once this guy gets bolted down, then we can make a bracket for this guy to hold this sucker in place somewhere like that. And then I'm gonna have to figure out something for this. I'm probably gonna make a box shape structure and then weld it to the chassis, and then, you know, obviously have a 17 millimeter on the inside so we can bolt it in place. Eventually I'll get a crossbar or another roll cage where I can run, you know, actual harnesses, and then get rid of all of this unsafe rig that I'm doing. So let's get to welding. Got this bottom bracket welded up right there. It didn't occur to me until I finished this that the gas tanker's right here. So dumb. Anyways, be careful, guys. Do it with cautious. Or actually, you'd actually have that bracket in place if you was doing this. Me, I cut it off, so I had to re-weld it back. But I didn't take precautions because I didn't think. Nonetheless, it is welded on. I was able to do maybe like a 1/4 of an inch on the back side of the edges, but not fully on the back side because quarter panel's in the way. Quick update on the seatbelt. this is the bracket that I made that's going to be welded to the pillar. Let me, which way is it? It's going to be like this. Let me show you real quick how this looks. So this end is going to get welded right here, and I'm taking consideration of these two right here, is these two guys right here. And if you guys really hated my pinky, I'll make a full video just for you. I like to be a velociraptor, you feel me? So fuck off. Anyways, this guy is almost dead center to these two guys right here, and I'm gonna assume, I don't know why there's a slant there, but I'm just gonna assume the buckle bracket seatbelt thing right here is in the middle of these two guys, which then leads to about right here. And this bracket is gonna go right there, and then this end is gonna go right here, right? And then there's my 17mm bolt with a nut welded on the back, and that is what's going to allow the top of the seatbelt to bolt into the pillar. Now, the only thing sketch about this is how thin this metal is, and not sure if I can bring the welding machine to TIG it so I can control the amperage, or just send it with the flux core. Burn a little bit of my Velcro here, but I have extra, so I'm gonna cut this part off, put a new section on. Anyway, so I got this bracket welded up right there, right here, and on that pillar. You can see it kind of burnt through a little bit, but it is secured. And all I got to do now is that one on the bottom. Hopefully there's a like a threaded bolt down there already. I'm gonna pull the carpet back a little bit and see if I can find it, and if I could, cut a hole in the carpet, bolt it in. If not, then damn, probably gonna have to pull this whole cover off, drill a hole, put a nut, and weld it. Based off a lot of reference from Google Images, I picked a spot for the nut, drilled a hole, stuck it in there, and welded blindly. But it is fused, so it should be golden, and painted it black. So I got a mounting spot for the lower, mounting spot for the top, one mounting spot for the bottom seatbelt mechanism right here, and I'm about to make another one for this guy, so that way it's not like, it's not that flimsy really, but probably gonna have to add one there because it was there for a reason. Once I get this welded on, then we can button up, or actually I'm gonna button up all this first, and then we can be done with the seatbelt conversion. All right, for that last mounting point on the seatbelt mechanism, this right here is a bracket that I just made, which then goes on the pillar, and then it's gonna obviously ear out onto the 10mm mounting hole on the seatbelt. And then I welded a nut on the back side right there, and then a 10, which then is gonna bolt the seatbelt mechanism to this bracket. I can't do this with one hand, but I'm gonna bolt it up real quick and show you how this looks, and then I'm gonna weld it. Okay, so the bracket is gonna be mounted like that, and it bolts it into the seatbelt mechanism, and then weld it right there. All it does is just keep this sucker from like moving all over the damn place. So I'm gonna get to welding that and paint it as well. Pillar mounted seatbelt complete. So this is pretty much just gonna be it for this video, guys. This took a lot longer because when I dyed the car, I pretty much cut all the webbings out, which then had all of the mounting point. If you was to do pillar mounted seatbelts, Honda's made them all the same, you know, whatever nuts and bolts that chassis is going to get, this chassis is going to get as well. The only difference for this car is the lower mounting point, the one that I welded right here at the bottom. Only the passenger side has it for the 9091, while the 8889 has it on both ends, obviously, because they came pillar mounted seatbelts. But for the most part, for cars like, say, you're trying to do for your CRX or EF hatch and sedans or whatever the case may be, the mounting point should already be in your car, and you don't have to do all the extra stuff like the welding things that I did to your car as I did in my car, except possibly the lower one. But other than that, my seatbelt is fully secured. This thing locks into place, you know, on impact, obviously, and it retracts back, so that's awesome. The bottom one's pretty solid, and everything's all tightened down. So now I can finally diet the doors. So be sure to stick around for the dieting of the CRX doors. I'm actually going to use the glass and still leave them in the door because I don't have Lexans for them. But for the most part, the tracks, the webbings, and everything else, the seatbelt mechanism that's on the door is all going to come out in hopes of lighting up the door a ton more. And then we'll probably hit the track again. So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this seatbelt conversion. And thank you guys for watching.